Good morning, YouTube. Yes, it's your girl Ro here from Prison Suit straight to Power Suit. And I know right now I wasn't really ready to make this video, but I'm going to go ahead and do it because a lot of things that we don't talk about is our mental health and the help that we have coming home, fighting away from going back to recidivize. I'll tell you, for me, when I came home from my journey, for one, I went to federal prison for tax fraud. I owned a business that I operated for about 8 to 9 years, had an influx of clients. Everything was going great. Um, a lot happened during that time. It wasn't necessarily the money that really got me caught up. It was just the drive and the ego, someone who can go in and I just felt superior. I'm just being honest. I didn't care about the money. I didn't care about any of that because once I did get situated, I was established. So none of that meant anything to me. It's just that genuinely I wanted to help. I mean, quite natural, of course, yeah, it would help me too financially from a financial standpoint, but that really wasn't my whole lingo, the finances. Um, when I end up leaving prison, fast forward 2020, March the 2nd, the day before my daughter's birthday, I moved in with my mom because I didn't have anywhere else to go. I lost everything. I didn't care about that. I knew I had a plan coming home. So when I lived with my mom, I thought she was going to go ahead with my plan to live there at least between 6 and 12 months, stack up some money, get me a job, stack up some money, be able to get myself in position, engaged to run out there in the real world and conquer all. But life took a hold, which I'm sure life has happened to a lot of us. And for me, it happened tragically. Me and my mom ended up getting into it really bad. Just so many differences that were going on. Of course, it was me and my children living there. So that was a lot on her. And I understood, all grown people need their own home. But when you come home, people don't understand the mental capacity that it is to deal with so much. I couldn't walk in stores. I couldn't be around other people. It's like I secluded myself. And although in prison, there were so many of us, I knew them for my whole bid, my whole 2.5 years. So those were the only people that I had known for a while. And it's not like, oh, you went back home to your family. Not that type of way. It wasn't really that. It was more so like I didn't want to be around other people. It's just that I needed my peace. But my mom, she wanted me to rush. Like, you have to hurry up and do this. You have to hurry. Like, immediately I did have a job. I got a job within a month of me being there. But it wasn't necessarily that. It was a discomfort. My mom had installed cameras in her home, as well as they put bars on the doors. I mean, it was just a lot of messiness that was going on. And I didn't care about any of that. I just wanted her to embrace my idea as far as when it came to me mentally taking on everything. So we ended up getting into a very bad argument to where, Derica, can you turn that phone off, please? I'm so sorry, guys. But we ended up getting into a very bad argument and we got put out. So as we got put out, that added more insult to injury. And under the whole idea of that happening, a friend took us in. We stayed at our home for about 3 weeks and everything was fine, but the situation was becoming a bit uncomfortable because that's her home, and not uncomfortable in the sense that I didn't feel comfortable being there. No, not like that. It was her home and I was uncomfortable because I'm a woman, you know. That's my womanhood. I felt like I didn't feel like it was being taken away from me, but it's like my hands were tied behind my back. What could I do? So I just bust my tail. I went in with the monies that I had. I went and I got me a car from a buy here, pay here place, $1,500 down. Ended up working my job, and from then on, I moved my kids into the apartment, the first apartment that I lived in. No, doesn't in there. Mm-mm. It got worse. On top of me having to move back and reintegrate to society and get myself together, I had all the bills on me. I had the truck payment, which was roughly $350 a month, plus $324 a month for car insurance. My rent at the time was nine something a month. Plus my children, they had their needs. My daughter worked. I had to get her to work. I was driving 45 minutes to work. Y'all, I was so overwhelmed to the point that we ended up getting an eviction notice on the door. I never wanted to be in that position. It's like I went from making, and this is not to brag or boast, but 200,000 a year in the 4 months that I worked to making nothing, nothing. It was good money for what I needed to do, but it wasn't enough because it wasn't covering everything. So I was like, Lord, please, if you could please just go in and help me. Like, I need a second job. Well, needless to say, we ended up losing that place. We didn't get evicted. We kind of did like a hurry up and early move out situation. And I ended up getting into a wreck, which, thankfully I'm alive. And that gave me a boost because once I got into that wreck, I was able to get a large settlement out of it. And I was able to kind of semi take off running, not running the way I wanted to, but to where I knew that I had to put a plan in place. And that was to pay my rent up for the whole year and to go up and take care of bills. And then I fell pregnant with my daughter. But we'll get into that later. But the whole thing about this video right here is mentally, can your family handle you coming home? Because a lot of them want to go in and say, oh, yeah, 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 I got you, I got you, I got you. But really, do they have you? And do you have them when you come home with your sanity? So it's something that I think that we need to discuss. For one, I say if you are the type of person who really is okay with goals and plans and such, execute it and own it, you know, but also be open to your family about how you're feeling. Do you feel well? Do you feel safe? Don't go in trying to take control of somebody else's life and change anything. And I didn't mess that up by my mom. It's just that that's my mom and I know her. And it's like she was just hurting me instead of helping me. And I know it's like, oh, you're a grown ass woman. You're supposed to have this, and this together. But when you come home from being gone for so long, it's definitely rough. So the message for today, and only for today, and any day, is take care of you first. Take care. Take your time. Go slow. If you need a break, guess what? It's okay. It's okay. Because some things, sometimes in life, everything doesn't fall on the plan that we need to fall on. And I'm so grateful and honored. Listen, I love my mom. I'm grateful and honored that that situation happened because had it not happened, I wouldn't have been in the situation that I was in order to move on and thrive, to advance for myself and my family. It reminded me of the time that I had ended up losing my homes to where we became homeless. Y'all, my ego was so high that I didn't even want to let my family know that we were suffering, myself or the children. I know it's like, oh, why would you put your kids in a situation? But God, but God. Because during that time, and that was an incarceration to not only myself and my children, but from my mental psyche. It was just crazy. But God never let me have to sleep in the truck. He never let me sit down and just wallow in my panic and my frustration and whatnot. He helped me and he saved me. And that's why I had written that book, Finding the Impossible Me, because it lays out everything that happened. So in life, sometimes we don't want things to happen to us because we're such good people or we have this persona that shows that we're the most magnificent people in the world, but we can't help it sometimes. So just be safe and well. And the next video, we're going to talk about some business ventures. And if you like this video, please subscribe to my channel. I would certainly appreciate it. And watch me on 60 Days In. Be well.